I wanted to show you guys the next batch of sweaters that's going off. I did them from darkest to lightest. So each one has its own label, the name of the person. This one is Mo. I made them kind of abstract. I didn't want to actually be advertising to people what somebody's name was. And the owner wanted nicknames, so instead of just spelling M-O, I did something that looked kind of like a mountain in a circle. Anyway, so I will show you them. This one was hand dyed. It started out as a brown fleece that I then over dyed black. So that's why it's got the variegated. I prefer the variegated because it doesn't show wear the same way. This one is the original owner's sweater. This one is the only one so far that I've hand carded the fiber, and it is, I don't know if you can look at it and see the difference in the texture. There's a huge difference in the texture. It's more dense. It will be warmer. It is softer. So this one is 100% handmade. I sheared the sheep, I washed it, I carded it, I spun it, I knit it. And I tried to put, I don't remember where I put the label on this one. I tried to put the label in a different spot on each one of them. I don't remember where I put it on this one. Some of these hoods I felt were a little bit too big. So by the time I got to the last one, I kind of was taking down the hoods a little bit. Okay. Then we have this one. This one's indigo on gray. So the fleece itself, the fiber was gray, and then I over dyed it indigo. I think it's just a really, really nice, rich, deep, beautiful, masculine blue with tiny, tiny undertones of brown. Just tiny, tiny, tiny undertones. Then this one is true indigo. This one is indigo on white. So the fiber started out as a white, and and then I just dyed it. Instead of over dyeing is where you have a colored fleece that you dye a different color, that's over dyeing. And this one is white with indigo. And you can see the nice striping in it. It's very pretty. I think this is for one of his sons, whereas the darker blue one that he wanted to be really hyper masculine is for one of his brothers. So this one is a son's sweater. This is the owner's sweat. Let's see. This brown one is the owner's sweater. This one is a brother's sweater. This one is a son's sweater. And this one is another brother's sweater. This is the one that was Silverbirch that looked really ugly and gray. And I was really, really hoping that when I knitted it up that it would really pull that blue more than the gray, and it did. I'm super, so far this is my favorite sweater. You just look at it and it's just gorgeous. Has all that pretty blue in it. So again, this one is the brother's sweater. And you can see this label is kind of random. It actually says Dr. Smeed. And again, I did it in an abstract way. And of course, blonde hairs everywhere. So on this one I had to be really careful because of the color variation. So I took the darkest skeins and did the sleeves up to here on both sides in really, really dark skeins. And then I did medium dark for the band, light variegated here, and you can see how the stripe starts out here, and then you can see where I pick it back up here, another stripe, and then down here is another stripe, but that stripe carries underneath the pocket. And then this one I did the shortest hood on, and I think I got it a little too short, I don't know. The pattern is hard to follow in some spots. Like it said to do the hood for 9 inches, and I just don't think that's long enough. For me, it needs to be at least 13, but I have a long neck. So I don't know. Hopefully it fits. And then again, medium variegated here, and then darker variegated on the hood. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This doesn't show the first 2. I had the burgundy one for his sister, and then the really pretty cranberry red one. No, not cranberry, crabapple red for his youngest son. And then we have one more to make that's olive, but I'm going to send this batch off. It makes me a little nervous to have it in the house. Once they're in his hands, they're delivered, and that part is finished. It just makes me nervous to hold on to them. So we're going to send this batch off. We have one more left, and then I have 2 pairs of socks to make for him, 3, I think I actually have 3 gloves finished. I've only sent him one because I wanted to over dye. And then, so I have 1 pair of gloves left to do, and then 4 hats. And then he will have, what happens is with the Kickstarter, you can only pick 1 reward, but you can give somebody as much money for it as you want to, and so it has to be kind of a private thing. Kickstarter doesn't care if you do it, but it's a private contract between you and the person who is doing the Kickstarter. And what he did is he went and calculated everything up that he wanted that was for my Kickstarter, and so when he bought the 1 sweater, he actually gave me couple $1,000 because that's how much the Kickstarter cost. He wanted to make sure that it got funded, and so he went and purchased everything that I had to purchase that he thought his family would be interested in, and gave me the exact money for what I had asked for each of the objects. He calculated it up. We made a private contract that that's what we would do, because legally, because it's not part of the reward system, Kickstarter can't hold you to making those rewards for him, since it wasn't an upfront contract, it was a private one. So he has 8 sweaters. Here's 5 of them. He has 7. He has 2 at home, and I have 1 more to make him. So that's how that works. So you can always give somebody who's doing a Kickstarter more than what the reward allows you to. You can put in however much you want to. So this worked really good for me, and hopefully it worked good for him. I think the sweaters are really pretty. I hope that he and his family think that they're pretty. And today I'm going to be sending off this box to him. So I'm pretty excited. I hope you love it, Mr. 8 Sweaters.